Hi, it's Patsy. So I popped on today to do a bit of a tag. There's quite a few going around at the minute that I'd like to do, but I'm doing this one first, and it's from Cody over at Tarot Readings from a Bitch, and it's hashtag Tarot Reviewer Questions, and I think it's 8 questions, or is it 9? 9 questions. So I thought this was a different kind of tag, so I've jumped on to do this. So the first question is, what is your tarot experience? So my tarot journey started in 1992. I'd lost my brother the year previous. I was 25 years old in 1992. I'd lost my brother, he was 14 months older the year before. And I was on this kind of journey, I think. And I'd gone into a metaphysical shop in the local city, and I found this tarot in a yellow box. It was lighter weight, disgusting colours inside it and what have you, but it done the job. And I went to the library and I got out books on tarot, and I sat and journaled for months with these books from the library. I had to keep getting them out and getting them out. But there wasn't an awful lot of books around at that time, so and I journaled in these hard books for a long time, months and months, if not years. But I had those right until we moved here, actually, about 3 years ago, and then I threw them away. But yeah, so that's how my journey started. That is how it started. And since then, I've done readings from not only for myself but other people. I've done readings in shops. I've done readings at fairs and different things. But the last few years, it's just been mainly readings for myself and a few people, usually friends and what have you. I don't usually charge a lot. If I do charge people I don't know. But yeah, so that's my experience. So why do you review decks? Well, I never really thought I did review decks, but when you think about it, walkthroughs and flip-throughs are reviewing a deck, aren't they? So the reason why I started doing that was to talk about the decks, because I wasn't friendly with people who followed the tarot, or people who was interested in the tarot. It was a way of sharing my interests with like-minded people. And not only that, if I wanted a new deck, I would jump on YouTube or to try and find some images of the cards, because you didn't always get images with the cards. So that was the reason why I started doing walkthroughs and flip-throughs. I don't do as many nowadays, because I do think there's enough on there. They don't need my input, so it's not something I really do. I do the occasional one still, but not every deck like I used to, because like I said, there's so many people out there doing them with better aesthetics, and I mean, I've not got cameras and all this sort of stuff. I've just used my iPhone and sit in front of it. So it's usually left to other people who's got the cameras down and to the lighting and all the rest of it. The only time I usually pop on is if I particularly like a deck, or it's one that I've not really seen around a lot, then I'll show it, because again, if people do want to look at it, then there is at least some way for them to see the cards. So that's the reason why I review decks. So the question 3 is, how did you get into reviewing decks? And again, that's very much the same reason, because I didn't really have people to talk to about it, and I'd got the channel. I just started the channel, and I was finding all these new decks, because for years I'd only got one, then 2 decks that I used. And then all of a sudden, when I sort of joined YouTube and whatever, and saw all these decks, I was just buying decks, and it was just a way of me sharing what I was buying, sort of thing, and what I was enjoying. And I was just overawed by all these decks, I suppose, and getting people's inputs and what they thought of them, and so that was the bit sort of why I got into doing it. So question 4 is, do you receive decks for review? No, I've never received a deck for review, and I have no need to expect that I will do. I don't have a big channel. Like I said, I don't have the aesthetics, I don't have the cameras, I don't have the lightings or anything like that. So there's no reason why creators would want me to review a deck. So no, I've never reviewed a deck, and I don't expect to get decks to review. All the decks that I have shown are decks that I've paid for with my own money. On a couple of occasions, a couple of friends have gave me decks, and the majority of them are what I bought myself. What kind of reader are you? So that's the question 5. So the kind of reader that I am is, I guess it's intuitive, with the structure behind the intuitive. So when I look at the cards, first of all, I will get a kind of rough idea of what it's telling me through the structure, and then the intuitive side of me will kick in, and I will always go with the intuitive side, then stick to the structure of a deck. So that's just how I read. I'm more intuitive reading than I am structural, but I try to use both because there is a system to the tarot, and I think, you know, I don't throw that away. I stick to that structure but if the intuitive is more of a pull, then I will kind of deviate a bit to that intuitive side, but I do try to stay within the structure of the card meanings. But they're very adaptable anyway, the readings. They're not set, do you know what I mean? They are very adaptable, so I find it's very easy to do that. Number 6, what kind of decks do you gravitate towards? So I gravitate towards, I suppose, earthy decks. I like, I'm not great with animal decks, I must admit. I have some oracle decks that are animals, and there's a few that I like, but in tarot, I like to see people. And I guess that's because I'm intuitive. I like to see the way they're looking, whether they're looking at you, whether they're looking behind them, looking in front of them, if they're looking at each other, and all that kind of, the interaction with figures. So the kind of decks that I gravitate towards are those ones what have got people, and there is a lot of interaction between the cards and within the card. Sorry, the cards I like are quite busy. I'm not into abstract decks or decks that it's just like a picture of the sea or anything like that. I need people, figures within the cards to kind of be able to read them the way that I read. So yeah, the kind of decks that I gravitate towards, I've definitely got to have people in. I love the aesthetics of earthy decks, the witchy sort of lots of greenery. Like at the minute, my favourite is the Slavic tarot, the Slavic tarot what I recently got. I love that. That's all set in like forest settings and what have you. And I like the Green Witch, all them kinds of decks. So the ones what I got, I've a lot of earthy stuff in, a lot of greenery. You know, I mean, my house is full of plants, so it's that kind of aesthetic I like. But then there is times that I just like the traditional straightforward Rider-Waite, when I just want a quick answer and I'm not in a place to really be intuitive or anything. I just need to go bang bang bang, there's your answer. Then I just like a straightforward Rider-Waite deck. Do you know what I mean? So they're kind of the decks that I do gravitate towards. So number 7 is what do you like in a deck? So what do I like in a deck? I suppose, like I said, people. I like to see people in a deck. I like it to be quite a busy deck. I like it to follow the Rider-Waite system to a point. It doesn't have to be, you know, bang on Rider-Waite. It can deviate a bit, but I do like that structure of Rider-Waite. So I do like it to follow that system. I'm not great with pip decks and things for that reason. And cardstock. I don't like, I'm not overly bothered about cardstock, but some cards you can get are really, really flimsy. And I mean, I love the Llewellyn decks. They don't bother me in the slightest. I like that cardstock. But anything thinner than that, I'm not a fan of. But the ones that really get me, the really thick cardstocks, they're really, you can't manipulate them. They're stiff and they're hard to shuffle. They stick together. You're trying to prise them apart, but they clump together, and there's some decks that just don't seem to get looser or better from that. It just constantly sticks and clumps together. So I don't like that in a deck. So when I'm looking at decks, I like them to be quite easy to shuffle and the cards not too thick. So what do you dislike in a deck is number 8. So I dislike the cardstock, as I just said. But I also don't like things that deviate too much. I'm not an abstract reader, so if a deck was full of abstract images, then I know that wouldn't be a deck for me, because I wouldn't get, I mean, I could stick to the structure, you know, but I wouldn't get them intuitive hits, and because I'm such an intuitive part of my reading, that they wouldn't really gel with me. So I don't like decks what are overly thick, where the cardstock is really clumpy and hard to shuffle, and I don't like decks that are just all abstract images or whatever. And also, if they, you know, we get some decks that have got gorgeous artwork, but then when you go to the book, they're not really discussing why they've chose the artwork to match that card. So it's just a basic meaning rather than going into kind of, oh, we've chose this for this reason, because some decks do it really great, and then there's other decks that just kind of don't give it any mention whatsoever, and they just give you the standard meaning of the card. And I think that it's nice when decks, the cards are, they've gone more into, and you've got an understanding why they've chosen these images for that particular card, if that makes sense. So the last one is, what do you not care about in a deck? So, you know, when you get, what are you not bothered about? I mean, some people are bothered about different things in decks, and some people it doesn't matter. Like, so to some people, cardstock isn't a problem. To other people, they're not bothered about whether they're abstract or anything. For me, I don't think there is anything that other people are bothered about that doesn't bother me. I'm just trying to think. No, no, I don't think for number 9 there is a specific thing that doesn't really bother me what bothers other people. I think if it bothers me, there is other people out there that it does bother. So I don't think that I'm not bothered about things that probably, you know, like I said, my cardstock is a problem for some readers, and it is for me. And I know that other people sort of not worried about them being pips, where it bothers me, but, you know, it's not the question. The question is, what do I not care about? So I can't really answer that one, I don't think, because I think things that I care about are what other people care about. So that one I'm going to have to miss out, I'm afraid. But yeah, so that's my question, what answers to the questions for the hashtag Tarot Reviewer questions, and it's done by Tarot Readings from a Bitch, Cody over at Tarot Readings from a Bitch. And I thought it was a different tag, so I gave it a go. But I'm interested to watch other people do this, so I shall be keeping an eye out. So if you've done this or you're intending to do this, let me know and I'll come and have a look. Thanks for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.